Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another self love conversation. Tonight, we're going to have such an amazing conversation because I have an amazing person with me, as you can see. But before I do that, I know we have a lot of new people here. So I just want to introduce myself and to let you know where you are, and then we'll get into the story. So, my name is Gloria Ward, and I am the founder of the I'm Loving Me project, where we inspire 1 million women to love themselves. And our goal is to share the stories of 1 million women around the world to teach the tools and the strategies to self heal. And tonight I have an amazing woman, Miss Khadijah Sams,
Hello, everyone.
who's gonna tell her amazing story about her journey to self healing and um, her story of how she's dealing with the things that she's dealing with today. So, Khadijah, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you're here and welcome. And like I said, you look so pretty today.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Thank you so much for having me on your platform. It's an amazing opportunity for me to be able to share um, something that was so tragic in my life, but to help inspire other people to know that when you have tragedies in your life that you can come back and that you don't have to let those tragedies take you down. You can come back from them and some of the tools that I use you know to get myself. I'm still healing, but I'm much
I
better.
know it. I know it. And I know we talked earlier and I told you that, I'm gonna take it any way that you want to, because the topic that you have been so bold to come out and tell your story. And I know that it's a little bit difficult to go ahead and say something like this. So I commend you and I thank you for just your courage and your strength to do this. So one of the things that we say, like I ask everyone, is, what do you see when you look in the mirror? And so if you can tell me, what do you see when you look in the mirror when you look at yourself now?
What I see when I look in the mirror now is a woman who has came through a lot to get herself back to where she can smile at herself again and be happy with herself again after so much time. And I'm, in a much better place in my life. And I just feel that, me being able to share my story with someone and being able to maybe save another person, save another child's life, save another person from going down the road that I went through and having to deal with the tragedy that I had to deal with. If I only can just save one person, then to bury their child, I that would be just that one person would just be enough for me because we see a lot of these things today,
Mm-hmm.
and what happened to me. It was 26 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter would be turning 27 this October the 19th, and
Okay. So
so
just tell me, so let's start from the beginning so everybody can understand, because most of the people read the introduction, which was
right.
powerful within itself. So just tell us the story the way that you remember it, and just let us know what happened.
Okay, when I was 23 years old, I was dealing with a young man, and him and I were in a relationship. I was young. I had three children. I had a 4-year-old. I have a daughter. At the time, she was 4. My son was 2, and my 10-month-old daughter. Him and I were in a relationship. It was an unhealthy relationship. We fought. Um, but I guess sometimes when we come up the way we come up, we're often don't take things seriously when we go through things. Sometimes we'll fight a person or fight a guy, and if you see it in your life, I've had domestic violence in my background, in my family. So
Right.
sometimes when you see domestic violence and you live through it and you don't see tragedy happen with those things, you see your family or friends overcome, you just don't, sometimes you don't think about it. You never think about it. You just get in the argument, get in the fight, and then the next day it's like you're
It's all
talking again, it's all good.
mm-hmm.
And so, and the guy that I was dealing with, he was a year younger than me, and he was living with me, and he wasn't my daughter's father, but we had been dealing with each other for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had known him before I actually had my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was around like when she was born and everything like that. He always was around. He was living with my children. He lived with us. And I guess I never thought, because me and him got into fights and stuff like that, I never thought about him like harming my children. Like I've never seen him harm my kids before.
Right.
So just, you don't think about it. But he was a drug user. He was a heroin addict, and he was young. And I was not a drug user. Like I didn't use drugs. I didn't get high. And so I kind of like had heroin addicts in my family too growing up. Like I had an uncle who was in a war, he was in Vietnam. When he came back, a lot of him and his friends, they were on heroin. But my uncle was just like one of the sweetest person in the world. Like he never, I'm not going to say we never seen him under the influence. We did, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like he never hurt us. He always protected us.
Right.
So I guess seeing that and seeing him that way, I just, took it lightly. You know what I'm saying? And one particular night, it was one day, um, he couldn't get high, and he was really sick, and he had went to the hospital that day, and he wasn't feeling well. And when he came in, me and him had a little argument, and so I didn't want to fight with him that night. So I put my children to bed, and I went over to a neighbor's house. My children were all asleep.
Right.
I went over to the neighbors, and I sat there for a few hours with her, watched a movie or whatever, and I came back home. Now, when I got back home, everything appeared to be normal. Nothing seemed out of place. The children were still asleep. Nobody was awake. And, you know, it was just like a normal night. But he did something at the time it didn't seem strange. But later,
Right.
thinking back on it after things progressed, after things had all came out, I started thinking like, yeah, that was a little strange. But at the time, I just didn't want to argue with him. So kind of like whatever he did, I was just like, whatever, just so I could keep the peace. And he had
Mm-hmm.
went in my children's room and they were sleeping. And he was like, the baby woke up, but the baby was sleeping. Because I went over to her and I said to him, she's asleep, she's not woke. And he was like, well, she had woke up or whatever. And I picked her up, took her in the room with us. She actually woke up, reached out for me. I kept her in the bed with us. And when she went back to sleep, I didn't put her in her bed. I put her in the bed with her sisters and her brother. Now my daughter had this toddler bed, and it was one of those metal, those metal toddler beds that the children have. And
Right.
at the time they had just came out, and I remember it was defective when we put it together. It had the metal guardrail that was on the bed. The bottom screw fit, but the top screw didn't, so it didn't stay up on the
Oh,
bed completely. It
yeah.
kind of like leaned back, and you would lean on it. It would keep her from falling out,
Yep.
but it would lean out. So when I picked her up, she was leaning on it. I noticed that she had a little bruise, but you know how when you have a compression mark from leaning on something,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know how long she had been there, so that's why I took her out of the bed. That's why I picked her up and took her in the room with us, because she had been laying in there, and I was like, I'm gonna get that fixed tomorrow. I'm not gonna leave it like that. So after I put her back in the bed with my son and my daughter, the next morning, I said I'm just gonna let her sleep with them, so she won't have to be inside that guardrail again. We went back to bed. And the next morning, my daughter, she woke me up. She was 4 at the time. She came in the room and she said, Mom, there's something wrong with the baby. So I said to her, well, maybe she's still tired, because it was late when I came in. It was like the middle of the night by the time we came in the house, maybe like 1 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around that time. I said, well, maybe she's
Mm-hmm.
just tired. So my daughter was like, she just had this look on her face, and she's like, no, Mom, she don't look right. And she's 4. So when she said I just jumped up out of the bed, I'm like, I just
Right.
jumped up, and I'm like, what do you mean? And when I went in the room, my daughter was dead.
Mm.
My daughter was gone. She was dead, and she just was frozen stiff.
Whew.
And bear with me.
Yeah, you could take your time. You can take your time. You can take your time. Like I said, I admire your strength and I thank you. I really do. I really do.
So I just freaked out, of course. Like I just started screaming to the top of my lungs because could not understand what was going on and why my
Right.
daughter was dead. And so he heard me screaming and he jumped up out of the bed and he came running into the room. Sorry. He came running into the room
Okay.
and he started screaming too. Like he started screaming with me, and we were like both like hysterical, like, oh my
Right.
God. And he was like, what happened? What happened? And he's like, what happened? What happened? And I'm like, I don't know what happened. And I just blanked out.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember a lot of what happened. Like, I remember going to my neighbor's house. My neighbor called the police. And I remember us going to the police station, but like a lot of things, like where my children were and stuff like that, I kind of like don't remember any of that, like what they were doing or anything at the time. Like after that happened, like I completely lost track of my other two children. I just was devastated. I couldn't think.
Right.
And so we go to the police station, and of course the police are asking us questions, and I'm telling them everything I'm telling you guys, and they're looking at me because they're looking at me like I'm crazy because they're them like I don't know, like I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm just telling them what I know. I would never hurt my children or whatever, and they let us go. And they were like, well, they had to do an autopsy, and that when they got the autopsy results, they would come back and they would let us know what was going on and if it was a foul play or whatever. And if it was not foul play, they would just give us a call and tell us what it was. So we wasn't allowed to go back to my house. I went to my mother's. My mom did not live that far from the police station. She didn't live that far from me, but she lived closer to the police station. So we went there, and he never left. He was with me the whole time. Like he never gave an inkling of anything that he had did or anything like that. He was with me. He never left. He was there the whole time. So I'm not even thinking
Mm-hmm.
he's there. So I'm just don't know what's going on, and I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. So we get to my mom's house, and we were there for a few hours, and about 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that, detectives come to my
Mm.
mom's house. So now at this point, I'm 23 years old. I'm like seeing these detectives. I'm young. My baby just died. I can get myself
It's too
together.
much.
And
Right.
the detectives come back. So immediately, like I already knew that it was something wrong because they said that they wouldn't come back. They said they wouldn't come back if it wasn't foul play. So
Mm-hmm.
immediately, I just start freaking out. Like, what happened? Now like all these thoughts is running through my mind. Like, what could have happened? You know where she was with someone else earlier that day.
Was it the crib? Did it was it a
Yeah,
mistake?
like
Anything.
I just like all these thoughts running through my mind. So we get into the cop car and we're on our way and we're riding. And I had my head down and I really wasn't paying attention to the traffic, but I noticed that we was going a long way after a while and
Yeah.
the police station wasn't that far. So when I look up, we were like on a highway and we were being taken in the center city, Philadelphia. And that's where the police headquarters were at. So I'm in the car and I'm asking him like, now I'm not crazy. Like I see that we're not going where we're supposed to be going back around the corner. So
Right.
I turned around and I looked at him and I said, listen, did anything happen? Did anything happen when I was not home? And he was like, no, crying, boo, nothing happened. And so we get to the um we get to the police district and I just see homicide division
Mm.
4. And just the words, just to see the word homicide and just to know what that meant. I just dropped down to the floor right at the door because I'm like homicide. Like I know nobody killed my baby. Like who would have killed my baby? Like who would have did something to my baby? So it was just like the hardest thing to just walk through the door, just knowing that these people was about to tell me something that I didn't want to hear. Because
Right.
let it been anything. Let it have been she got sick, her heart stopped. Let it been said she was 10 months, maybe it wasn't too, let it just be anything. Let it be anything, but not homicide, not that somebody had did that to her. And it was just so hard. And I just was in that police station. I just remember just being in there for hours and hours and hours, and they were just, playing that good cop, bad cop, thing. Just
Right.
like you said,
Trying to figure
in
out
there.
who's to blame.
Yes, and I'm just telling them everything that like I don't know. Like I would never hurt my children. Like I don't spank my children when they need to be spanked. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like so for now my baby, like she's 10 months old. Like what reason would I ever have to do anything like that to her? And this is why I'm explaining to them. And they're like, they're playing their good cop, bad cop thing, no sympathy. They're like, you better tell us what happened and this,
Right.
that, and the other, and so forth and so I guess after about, I don't know, I probably was there like 6 or 7 hours or something like that. We was
Mm.
here, like, and then finally, one of the detectives came in, and they were like, he confessed. They were like, he told us, wait, and they were like, he said you didn't know, like you didn't know anything that happened or whatever, and that he just got frustrated, and that he hit the baby, and
Mm. Mm. Thank you.
and he like hit her a couple times in her stomach, and she had internal bleeding, blunt force trauma, and she didn't die right away because she kind of like bled out through the night. And the corner,
So here here's the thing that I want to do, because I'm
uh,
like, I don't want you to, you
I'm
know,
getting, I
fully
know,
relive all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that just seeing the look on your face and everything, that is, this is the this is something that is very, very, very serious. And again, I thank you so much for having the courage to be here and to tell your story. And I'm trying to hold back my tears because I just cannot imagine at all what that would have been like. I can tell you right now, it would not have ended well for me on this end. Okay. But what I want to know is, you know, it happened, right?
yes,
And now we go home and it's time to process,
yes,
time to figure out what we are going to do, what you're going to do, because your life is different now, right?
mm, so different. It's so different
Your life
because
is different. And you got two other kids too.
yes, yeah,
And of course, their life is different now, right?
yes,
So take me through the process of your healing. Like, I know you said that it's still a process for you,
hmm,
but what I want people to take away from this is not the tragedy,
yes,
but the stuff that you went through to at least get you to the point where you are speaking out, because this is where your strength lies. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So what was
Absolutely.
that process like? I know you had some dark days and everything, but
Mhm.
what was the journey like?
So, I guess being young really helped because, and having my other two children really helped too, because like I knew that I had to take care of them, and I didn't have a choice but to take care of my other two children, and I just, I really just used them. Like they really just helped me
Yeah.
because they really helped me because had they not been there, I really wouldn't have really had nothing. I guess I would have had my life, but you understand what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
didn't have,
I understand.
had she been the only child, it would have been
Yeah.
so much harder to even deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But I had two other children, and now, they gonna ask me questions about their sister and things like that, and I have to be able to be prepared and not fall apart.
Right.
And Gloria, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. I don't know how I didn't. I don't know how, at first how I made it. I guess I just kind of. I always been like very independent and very headstrong, and always like been like a hard worker. And I think that those attributes helped me
Right.
because I just like I became a Muslim. Like I had converted my religion into Islam, and that really like Islam really helped me because it was like a sense of peace that I got
Mm-hmm.
from the religion,
Mm-hmm.
and it, like so many things that they talked about, the death of children and the things that happened, and it was like some things that and it gave me so much a sense of, you know, okay, I feel a little bit better. She
Right.
passed away, but she's okay. And once I had got to the point where I could understand that even though she left here in a tragic way, that she was okay now,
Mm-hmm.
it helped me. It helped me to heal. It helped me to, start to get my life together. It helped me not to dwell on it so much. Of course I had my days, but I just always knew like when I got really down, I would just pray a lot.
Yep.
I just prayed a lot and I meditated, meditation really like I started meditating and things like that. And I just started educating myself on lots of different things. I started educating myself on things like why do we choose the partners that we choose?
Yeah.
Why do
Yeah.
we allow certain things and certain people
You
to come
started
into
doing
our
the
life
work,
and
basically. You
bring
started
care?
doing the
I
work,
started to, you know,
because it is real to you now. Because
yes,
now, it's like,
yes.
you gotta understand anybody that come in my space now.
Oh my goodness,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
man.
no, I can't compromise anything.
Anything at all. And
You
it's like, it's, because I had to deal with, my daughter, I didn't find out until my daughter was older that she actually witnessed it, like she actually saw. And
no.
yeah, she did. I sent my daughter to counseling, how, at first I couldn't see past like help getting myself some help. I was trying to get some help. Like I was going to counseling, and things like that. But at first it wasn't working for me because, in the beginning it was just like, okay, what are you going to say?
Right. You don't
Like,
hear.
it's like it's
Tell
nothing
me
really
right
like
now
what can you
that is gonna
say
make
to
you
make her
feel
come
better.
back? What can you really say?
Right.
And so my daughter, she started having problems in school when she was in kindergarten. And I, remember them having to take my daughter to the child crisis center, and she just was so sad. And they were like, "Your daughter was talking about committing suicide," and my daughter was like 5 years old at this time.
No.
And that was a wake up call for me because it was like, wow, like she's suffering too. And even though she's still like, I would ask her because even the police asked her, they had the child guidance coming in and stuff like that, asked her, but she never even told them that she saw.
Wow.
And it wasn't until my daughter was in counseling when she was older and she was getting into a lot of trouble as a teen because my daughter, like, like, she, like, you can't get too close to her,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and she's a sweet person, but like, she, you gotta give her 50 feet. If you,
Okay.
like, if you come at her in a threatening manner, like, that's not gonna work for her because of what she went through. You know what I'm saying? And she,
Mm-hmm.
she kind of like carried the guilt of thinking that she didn't help her sister. And I have to explain to her like there was nothing you could do as a child
Mm-hmm.
to help your sister. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I finally got a, she finally had a, what happened was she finally got a counselor that she really related to.
Good.
And once she found this counselor that she related to, she opened up. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I found out. We all had counseling. We all sat down together. And that's when I found out that she actually had witnessed it. And
Right.
that, that she was living with that guilt for so long of not being able to help her sister. So I had to be strong for my daughter. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like, I had to be strong because my son, he was a baby, so he doesn't really have any recollection of her, but my
Mm-hmm.
daughter does. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had to be strong for my kids. I couldn't let them see me fall apart.
Yeah.
And so whatever it took, work, educating myself on different things, seeing, like I said, looking into myself and seeing how I got here, how I
Mhm.
got there at that time. Like, what was it that, you know, I saw in him that will allow me to just keep allowing somebody to treat me that way? And like, why do we as women, men, whoever go through domestic violence or stuff like that, why do we allow these things to happen?
It's what you said
And
earlier. That's the thing, and that's the thing that we don't become aware of until something happens,
yes,
and that's what we're trying to teach here. You've
yes,
seen it all your life, and it was normal to you. You know what I'm saying? You saw
yeah,
the domestic violence, you saw the drugs, you saw all of the abuse. So finding someone who just did all the stuff that you already seen, it really didn't bother you.
right,
It really didn't bother you because you're like, I'm used to this. I grew up this way.
exactly,
And like you said earlier, I've seen people overcome this because you fight, you do all this, and then the next day you friends and you're fine, not understanding that you're in something that's toxic. You
yes,
don't see it that way,
yes, yes,
you know. And when you get the wake up call though, that's when you start to say, hey, dude, this stuff ain't right. Like I know what they did, but
exactly,
like this stuff is dysfunction right here.
exactly, exactly,
Now
yes,
I gotta try to find my way out, not only for me, but also now for my daughter, because like I was saying when I went live the other day, you carry stuff for years and years and years and years. You carry stuff for years, and it doesn't leave you. You have to learn how to manage it once it happens. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? Because any trigger can go ahead and release that. But once you figure out how to manage it, then you would know how to pull yourself back together. And I'm
yes,
just so glad that you guys went to counseling and you found somebody that you could relate to, because now the process can start. And
right,
because the process started, you are still here, your daughter is
exactly,
still here, right?
absolutely, yeah,
And you still have your family and you still have that love. So again, I commend you, because I wouldn't even know how to deal with that. I would have had a lot of help to get me to that point. And like you said, it's still here, right?
hmm,
But you know what to do, right? So
right.
how is life now with you and your daughter and your family? Like, how is life now? Like, what are some of the things that you guys do or talk about, or you don't talk about it?
No, we talk about it. My daughter, she's doing much better in her life now. Like, she
Good.
struggled for a long time, just trying to get herself together, and she's in a much better place in her life now.
I'm
And
so
she
happy.
has 4 children. So
Yay.
she just had a little baby about June 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, had a little boy, and so she's doing much better. And she talks about it more now. You know, she's dealing with it a lot better. She's
Okay.
finally coming to grips with, she has her own children, and I have to, remind her that you have to be strong for your children. You
Mm-hmm.
have your children. I know
Mm-hmm.
your sister's not here, but you have your brother, you have your children, and you have other family members. And I have nieces. I have quite a few nieces the same age as my daughter was.
Uh-huh.
that my daughter would have been right now. So, and I'm really, really close to all my nieces and nephews. They all call me Aunt Katie. I'm so close to all of them. And they help me a lot too, because my sister um, and my best friend, who's just like a sister to me,
Right.
they both have daughters the same age that my daughter.
Oh, wow.
And as a matter of fact, my best friend that I grew up with as well, we were
Mm-hmm.
pregnant at the same time. All three of them have daughters the same age as my daughter, and we were all pregnant at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So at first, it was hard for me to be around their daughters, but then as the years went on, like I'm close to them, and I kind of, I'm glad that
Your
they're
kids
kind of
too.
filling
Yeah.
that space a little bit for me, missing my daughter and stuff like that. So they really helped me a lot. And like I said, just wanting something better. I'm just on to another journey in my life right now. I'm just trying to do something different in my life and create a legacy for my grandchildren now.
That's
And
right.
I got a couple things going on. Me and my family, we have an investment company called Roots of Progression that we started. We're in our third year now.
Come on and
So
tell me about
yeah, so Roots of Progression is it's just the family members. It's 14 of us. We just decided to get together and try out the stock market. Just novice, just going in. So my father, before my father passed away, he was really, really into the stock market, and
it.
he
Mm-hmm.
was fussing and my sister and I about getting into the stock market. We never paid no attention, but before he passed away, he was a retired vet and he got sick, and he was a stubborn old man. So he
Mm-hmm.
never told us that he was sick until the end. So I had the opportunity to be able to take care of my father until he passed away.
Okay.
And that was like really big for me, because my father and I, like, we didn't have like a really, really close relationship when I was growing up. He was in the military like my whole life, so he wasn't around. He took care of us financially, but he was not, not always around physically for us to have like a really, really good bond, even though I know he loved me, So just to be able to have that time with him. And so once he passed away, I kind of start, looking into the stock market, and things was looking a little bleak with Trump coming into office and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I told my family, we should just do something different. Let's just, start a stock club, because I've been watching a lot of things on the internet with people, African Americans getting into the stock market
Right.
and stuff like that. So I was like, we should just do it. And that's what we did. We just got together, put $20 a month together, started buying some stock. And now we've invested in about 30 different things in our portfolio now.
All right.
Yes. And so, and it looks like we have gotten some advice from some people, like my sister's a respiratory therapist. So she has some physicians from her job give us her some stock options that we should look into. So
Uh-huh.
it's exciting just, watching, even though, we still learning,
Right.
but it really looks promising, and we want to go into buying some real estate soon.
Okay.
So we're doing that.
See you on this new journey,
And
you on
yeah,
this new journey of
yes,
gaining wealth for you and your family.
yes,
We know things happen, but this new you has allowed you to be strong enough to tell your story, to
yes,
save another woman, and to also educate, you
yes,
know. And
yes,
I think that's along the lines of where you are. You're a survivor and you're here, and you have your kids and your family around you to keep you uplifted and keep you encouraged, and a lot of people don't have that when they go through real trauma and traumatic things.
yes,
Some people, they just end up alone, but I'm glad you had somebody, and I'm glad you and your daughter was able to come through this and still work through it, you know
right,
in
right,
order to continue to heal and do some amazing things. For
yes.
real, Khadijah, I thank you so much for being so strong to come and tell your story. I thought you was going to flake out on me and just be like, no,
I thought about
can't,
it, but
I
you know what,
can't
Gloria?
do
I was
it.
just, when I saw your platform, and I've had, be starting a podcast of my own soon.
Hmm.
Just not just talking about the tragedies that happen, but just helping people to see the signs. Because
Right.
sometimes and understand that it's not normal. Like, these things are not
Mm-hmm.
normal. Don't think that somebody beating you, smacking you all around, and having the unhealthy situations around your children is not normal. And
Right.
it's so, and I see so many things on the TV. It just break every time I see, something like this that happens to a person's child, like somebody's husband or boyfriend, or family member. You left your child and their care,
Mm-hmm.
and they do this, and it's like the ultimate betrayal. And as a person who has a child that you leave there, and as a being a parent, your ultimate duty is to protect your children,
Right.
and to know that someone came in your space that you trusted and did the ultimate betrayal. And there's nothing nothing can change it, nothing can make it go back, nothing can reverse it. It's something that you have to live with every day. It's hard, but I just want people to know that, if you're in an abusive relationship, you see somebody doing some things to your child, or you think, you have this inkling that it's something ain't feeling right, looking right, get out.
Right.
Don't stay there. Find, look, we got Google something. Google domestic violence, help, shelter, something,
There's
because
too much information out
it's
here
too
for
much. Like,
you to say
don't
that
sit
you have to
around,
say. Right.
because it's like we don't take things serious. We think things that can't happen to us, and you never know. Like, you never know. You
Right.
know, the slightest hit a child, hit their head on the table, and it could be over. And you have to understand that if somebody is abusing you and they're beating on you, and no matter how much they might have that good side, that you keep coming back, like, oh, it's not always like that, because it's always that good side. But, like, it ain't like that all the time. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If somebody's beating on you, and somebody's hitting on you, and somebody's harming you, they don't love you. They
Yeah.
don't love themselves enough to understand how to love someone else. You never know what people going through their own issues. Just for somebody to be his age, even to be on heroin at his age, he was 22 years old. Like, who's
Wow.
on heroin at 22?
Wow.
So, we can't save nobody,
Hmm.
and we can't save ourselves.
That ain't that the truth.
And we sometimes, I know, as Black women, we sometimes, because I know I have this thing with me, this mommy thing. I don't know. People just come like magnetic to me, and I feel bad if I don't help somebody, and I put
Uh-huh.
myself out there a lot. But you can still help people without giving them all of you,
Correct.
and save some for yourself.
I know exactly
Because I
that
gave
you gotta have boundaries. You know what I'm saying? You
absolutely,
gotta stick with your boundaries. Just
yeah,
like you said with your daughter. Your daughter say, "Give me 50 feet." I gotta have my boundaries, right? Because
yes,
ain't nobody coming up in this space unless
yes,
I allow them to.
absolutely.
And
So,
that's healthy. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yes. So I just want to, I just wanted to share my story, and I just wanted to. It was a long time coming, but I kind of, I'm a little stubborn, and so I feel like should have been out here, saying something, but it wasn't the time
Nope.
yet. And so I just want to, encourage people, encourage young ladies, encourage women, because I was 23,
Yeah.
and when I see some of the 23 years old, like, I look at my daughter at 23, my nieces at 23, and I say to myself, like, how did I survive?
Right.
I honestly don't know, like, how I did it,
Right.
being that age, because when I look at them, like my daughter, she's spoiled, so I compensated a lot for things. You know what
I was
I'm
about to say
saying?
the kids are different.
Yeah, yeah. I
Kids
compensated a
are
lot
different.
for her having to witness what she saw. And I compensated with material things a lot, which that's not good as a parent.
Right.
Parent, don't do it. Don't spoil your kids too much, because they will let you know later on. You always did it. You know what I'm saying? But um, you know just be there for them. Be strong for your kids. Don't compensate. Don't feel like you have to give material things in order, if something happens, or if you feel bad about something. Just be a parent. And, that's what these children don't have. And I work with abused children. That's what I do.
Mm.
I work with children who've been in trauma, children who've been in crisis. And our children see too much,
Yes.
and we don't know what be going on in these homes, you know. And I just feel like I have to do something for somebody's child, because I guess because I lost mine, and I just had this. And honestly, I never thought I was going to be the person who worked with kids
Yeah.
for real. So, but I just feel like me working with children, sometimes these kids, they be so angry and so upset about things that they going in there in foster care. Some of them, they get out of abusive households or things like that, and then they get into an abusive foster care situation, and they have no outlet. They have nobody
And
to love them.
and they
So
didn't they didn't do anything to go ahead and say that this is the life they want. Now, they just were born.
yeah.
You know
So
what I'm saying?
I encourage young women that if you don't have any children, take your time.
Right.
Being a parent ain't easy. Find out what you want to do with your life, and make sure that when you are ready to take that step, that you are in a healthy situation, so that you don't have to have your children ending up in unhealthy situations because you settle for things. You know what I'm saying? It's important that we don't settle. We sometimes feel like we need love. We'll kind of like get it from anywhere, but no, no, no. Love yourself first, and it takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of willpower, and but you can do it. And just be enlightened. Just know that even the toughest times is something to smile about. We can always. I wake up in the morning, and so many days I ain't want to wake up in the morning. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Today when I wake up in the morning, I'm thankful for whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to be able to share my story after so long, and to, enlighten people, and just, take care of yourself, take care of your children, watch who you have around your children, and know that whatever you're going through in life, there's hope, and there's always an out. You just have to sometimes think outside the box. Sometimes we have to go against our gut. Sometimes we have to get ourselves in uncomfortable situations to get out of situations that we're in, like I'm doing right now. This was not easy. I just want you ladies to know this was hard for me. Gloria tell you, I called her yesterday.
Yep.
She was sitting there Friday. I don't know if I want to do this, I don't know if I'm ready to expose myself to the world, but I just feel like that I should, and just for the legacy and the memory of my daughter, that her death won't be in vain.
Mm-hmm.
That her death could save someone else's baby, someone else's child,
Absolutely.
and possibly keep someone else from, someone else's mother from crying, someone else's mother from having to visit their daughter at the cemetery. It's
Right.
we live and we learn, and we just thank God that we have another day. And I just want, like I said, encourage people to just stay strong, and no matter what you're going through, if you want to get out of a situation, you can. Just dig deep down inside yourself and ask for strength, because that's what I did so many days. I screamed at the sky.
Mm.
So, ask for strength, and just know that there are people out there who understand. There are other people who been in situations that you've been in. And if you don't say anything, you will never know if it is somebody out there that'll give you some help. And that's why I wanted to speak today. But Gloria, before we end this, I also had wanted to share something with you. My father an architect. He was an artist.
Yeah.
And my father had painted a picture.
Uh-huh.
We were looking at it after he passed away, because we couldn't figure out what it said.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally figured out what it said, and I want to share it with you, if you can
Yeah.
see. Can you see that?
I can see it. Lift it up a little higher. Power.
It says willpower.
Oh, willpower. Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
so I added the caption at the bottom.
What it say? I can't see that part.
It says, when you have nothing left.
When you have nothing left. Wow.
And then I left my father's signature there.
Uh-huh. I love it.
So we're starting a t-shirt line
Yeah.
with the willpower, and we're going to do some things with that too, and just keep my dad's legacy alive. And going to donate some of the proceeds from my dad's artistry to vets. He got cancer in the military while he was out. I think he was in Guatemala, and some
Mm-hmm.
kind of chemical that they came across while he was out there, and he started having problems with his lungs there, and that kind of exacerbated his cancer.
Well, I
So
want to hear, and hopefully
yes,
we get to see you in Atlanta because I want to hug on you
yes, I
so
will
much.
be there. I will definitely.
I
I'm
want to
definitely
hug
going to
on
be
you
there.
so much. And I know that you are going to be such an inspiration when these women meet you. And that's what I tell each and every one of you guys, that the work that we're doing is very serious. This is
Yes,
not no airy fairy motivational thing where
yes,
you come and you get pumped up and then you go home. The stuff that she talked about tonight and the stuff that we are doing the work, ladies and gentlemen, because we
absolutely.
already know that there's something inside of us. And October the 13th, if you have not gotten your ticket, we have an early bird special right now. If you wait to the last minute, don't come texting me, yelling at me, doing all that, because we only got 60 seats, and bring some
Okay.
of your t-shirts, okay?
Yes, I definitely will.
And, you know, we want to see each and every one of you guys in Atlanta for this workshop. And Khadijah, thank you so much, man. I can't wait to meet you for real. I'm going
Thank
to
you
hug
so
on
much
you
for
so
having me.
hard.
Yes, I can't wait to
Hug
meet you
on you
too.
so hard. I hope you bring your daughter with you because I'm going to hug on her so hard.
Yes, yes,
And we're going to have such an amazing time. Thank you
yeah.
so much. And
You're
thank you
welcome.
for sharing your story, okay?
You're welcome, and thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget, go and get your ticket early. I'm not saying anything, it's out there. Don't come yelling at me later. Get your tickets and get your spots. We only got a few. Khadijah, I will talk with you soon. Okay.
Yes,
See you
yes.
soon,
All
actually.
right.
All
Yep.
right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.